Welcome back to Podcast with a K. I'm your host, Carla with a K. You're listening to 90.1 WECS FM, and we're joined on this fine Sunday evening by Javi Varela.
What's going on?
Into the mic.
What's going on, man?
There we go. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm chilling. I just got back from the concert and helping with loadout for a bit. So, I'm exhausted, but otherwise it's fine.
You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, it was cool. I like the hype of concerts. Personally, I didn't listen to these artists before, but I actually really liked the first opener. Like,
Really?
his vibe was dope.
Who was that?
YBM Corday. Yeah.
Any hits that he had? Or?
I assume they were his hits. No, we looked him up on Twitter. He has about 150K followers, so he's very much up and coming, but he's doing his job right, because I think he got the crowd hyped up the most on his own. The second guy, who was it? Whatever his name is.
Dinero?
Oh, Flip Dinero, yeah. He's the one that has that "Leave Me Alone," that song. But he had his whole squad to help hype the crowd up. So props to the YBM Corday. His set was dope, and it was just him.
Gosh.
So that was cool. You just got back from a game, right?
Yeah, 2 games back to back, quarterfinals and semifinals.
Soccer, right?
Yeah, soccer game, but we won both games.
Dope,
so,
congrats.
Yeah, so shout out to my team. We did a good job, and
that's what's up.
Really, come out and support tomorrow. Stay tuned for the time, because it's final season.
That's what we like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's get to know who you are, Javi, shall we?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so some questions we ask everyone. What is your major?
My major, I'm a communications major with a minor in sports management. Junior.
Nice.
Couple of weeks, I'll be a senior.
Oh, snap. That's exciting. You gonna be graduating next year then?
Yeah, spring 2020.
Nice.
It's a bit bittersweet, but
yeah,
keep it moving.
That's exciting. Do you have anything planned for that, or you just gonna go through it?
Really, I'm just trying to expand my network, get to know as much people as I can before I leave, and really start my clothing brand. Really.
Oh snap! You trying to start a clothing brand?
Yeah, just 'cause I love what I do, and I just get to be myself,
Yeah.
And just show who I am.
And you're into fashion.
Something like that, yeah.
We seen you at the fashion show.
Yeah, there was an Africa Club. They asked me, and little by little, it was my first time.
Oh, snap.
Just walking and posing, and all that was kind of
Nobody ever would have known, because you did that strut right.
I was fortunate enough, and little by little, I gained my confidence, and
yeah.
You gotta use what you got and
use
it as an armor, in life.
Of course. And you be styling anyway.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah. But that's cool. You're broadening your horizons, to use a cliche. Of course, the most important question here. What's your zodiac sign?
My zodiac sign. Well, I'm a Leo.
Do you believe in astrology?
It's interesting to read,
Uh-huh.
I'm not really a big fan of it at all.
Right.
But it's crazy how you can relate to it on a certain day.
Yeah.
On a certain mood you're in.
And people like to say that that's because they're vague enough that you can be oh, this happened because it said so, or oh, I didn't have a bad day because I listened to my horoscope. But it's I don't know, man. Sometimes for fun, I'd be reading the other signs and they just don't apply.
Mm-hmm. For me, I guess it's more towards how you want your day to be about.
Yeah.
If you want to be sad, happy,
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you have control over it. And
yeah,
really
you can model your own day.
Do what you want.
Choose your own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. What are you hoping to do with communications and sports management?
Well, so this summer coming up, I have an internship at Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, dope. So I love helping others and really just paying it for those in need.
Yeah.
And even if I have issues of my own, I'm always willing to help out. And
right.
And I'm not, perfect or the best guy out there, but I do what I can.
Yeah.
And I really, that's a big thing about me. I love helping others, regardless of who you are.
Yeah.
I'm there to support.
Shouts out to your CCE job as well for that.
Yes, shout out to the CCE. That best place to work at. Best people to be around with, and really, I don't know where I would have been if it wasn't for the CCE. I think I still would have been in my bubble, really.
Oh, snap, yeah. So the CC's helped you in more ways than one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to be pretty annoying when it comes to talking now. So I continue nonstop and can't help it.
Nah, never that. But yeah, the CCE is one of like the greatest things on campus. If you're listening and you don't know, the CCE is the Center for Community Engagement.
Yeah, it's volunteer organizations. We work with middle school kids, adults, a lot of volunteer programs, especially when it comes to rehabilitation programs.
Yeah.
Addictions, especially in the Winematic community.
Yeah.
We have this heroin, I guess,
kind of a crisis or so.
Yeah.
But working past it, working through it,
Absolutely,
doing what we can to help.
Gotta keep it pushing in.
Yeah, for sure,
Look forward for better things in life.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool that the CCE is an option, and of course it's super cool that you're out here working for them, doing what you can.
Yeah, it's a blessing, really. Never would I think about working for someone and really just helping others like every day.
Yeah.
And it's something I love to do, you know. It's not like, oh, I have to, or say, oh, I feel miserable here. I love what I do, you know.
Yeah. And it's cool to see that you guys that work for the CCE are all so excited to like go to work and like do what you can, because you know other people that have other jobs on campus. I'm not saying anything about anyone, you know, no tea, no shade, because my podcast is a peaceful place. But you know, some people are like, oh, I have to go to work. You know, I have to go sit and do nothing basically for like 5 years. Right. But you guys like y'all really do seem to enjoy what y'all do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we help these people. We're pretty much their highlight of their day. You know?
Yeah, and it's honestly really cool to volunteer with you guys because y'all are so like
engaged and just we see the logistics behind it, and we just incorporate our ideas and what we can do to help the community. You know,
definitely.
And like when these kids tell us, "Oh, thank you so much for helping my homework," or "Thank you for like helping me feel better." Yeah, you know, it's that little spark, and you're like that joy, and really, it's a blessing.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this is the worst segue in the history of the show, but speaking of kids saying things that matter, have you seen, because, you know, we like to discuss trending topics on the show, enough kids, I will say, complained about the Sonic movie trailer.
Sonic movie.
So if you guys haven't seen, they're making a movie about Sonic featuring Jim Carrey, I think is the biggest actor on the list. But the design for Sonic was interesting, to say the least. And of course the fans had something to say about it, right? Because it didn't look like Sonic at all, and I'm like, I feel like it would have been cheaper to design Sonic to look like Sonic, because you already kind of have that base model. But thoughts on this?
I mean, first what stood out to me was Puma shoes.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
And just growing up, I actually played on Sonic, like on the computer. In elementary, I would hide my way in the corner and just play with it when I should be doing my assignment. But
of course.
And I also noted that Sonic doesn't have his gloves. You know.
Yes, it's a key part of his fit, bro.
Absolutely. And just his face, and I'm like, dude,
what's wrong with his face?
He looked pretty ugly, you know. Like,
they didn't get the eyes right, and that was what everyone wanted, was just like the big, like goggle-looking eyes.
So, but I hear they're making a remake of it.
Yeah, they're redesigning him. So I don't think that they've like changed the release date, but they are going to be redesigning Sonic to look more like cartoon Sonic that we know and love. But it sets an interesting precedent, because you know people always have something to say about movies, so it's like where does this end? Like how many different movies are going to actually give in to the fans' demands?
Right. And also the villain, what's his name?
Robotnik, I think. I don't know, man.
I thought they were gonna make him fat, because in the cartoon he's actually fat. And so it stood out to me. I'm like, oh, this dude's skinny.
Just Jim Carrey out here wilding.
But, you know, it's okay. It's okay. You know, ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just, it would have been better to just tie it in. Yeah,
Dr. Robotnik. But, yeah, you're not wrong. But I guess we'll see. It's always interesting to see whenever they make movies. Like, what's the other one? Oh, Detective Pikachu is coming out soon.
Hey, I love Pokemon. So I grew up with a stuffed Pikachu. So.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that one. Like, oh, gee, I was like, no one asked for this movie. Why are y'all making this? And especially Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu, because you always imagine Pikachu with the, like, Pika, like the high-pitched voice, you know?
But not this.
Nah, it's Ryan Reynolds. But I saw the trailer before. I think it played before Endgame, because we went to see Avengers. No spoilers. Cool. We're not talking about that one on this show. But okay. Yeah, we saw the trailer for Detective Pikachu, and I'm like high key hype for it now. Like it looks really good. The nostalgia factor is like super super strong too, because it's like, wow. Imagine if you just walked out and there was a giant Charmander just standing in front of you. But that's also one of the complaints that they had about the Sonic movie, wasn't it? That it didn't really play into nostalgia for anyone, especially because Sonic didn't look like Sonic.
Yeah.
But also, like...
At first, I thought it was just a rap movie.
A rap movie?
Yeah. It was just blue, you know, and just running fast. And then I hear the word Sonic. I'm like, oh, all right.
I think the best part of the trailer is just the beginning when they have the Paramount and it's the rings instead of the stars. The best part of the trailer,
Right.
which is sad, but that was a nice little touch.
But
Are you going to go see the Sonic movie then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If they make it better, then sure, yeah, why not?
What are you going to do if the redesign is even worse than this one? Still going to go see it?
Yeah, why not? You know,
I guess you have to, huh?
In a way, but just because, like I said, I grew up playing with it.
Yeah.
And like even though my mom didn't let me, I still did it anyway.
Are you gonna go see Detective Pikachu?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I grew up with it. I had the playing cards.
What was your favorite Pokemon growing up?
Like I said, Pikachu.
Pikachu was your OG.
Yeah. I had a stuff like it was huge. I was like way bigger than I was when I had it when I was at 7 years old.
That is adorable.
It's huge. And then,
I love that.
It was a birthday gift too, and then like the next day my mom threw it out.
No, I cry. That's terrible.
Yeah, my mother thought it was like symbolic towards the devil, and
oh no.
So.
I always felt so bad because I had friends that like they weren't allowed to like play Pokemon or like whenever Princess and the Frog came out, they were like, oh no, it has voodoo, and like I was big into Harry Potter, and
right.
like they weren't allowed to because you know it's like sacrilegio, the devil, and my parents were always just kind of like, you know, use common sense, don't do
right.
weird things. So I was always like, really? Because like my parents were like super Catholic, and I'm still allowed to like watch these things and play these games, and so like it always hurt my heart that I had friends that didn't get to grow up with that. But somehow there's y'all that like got away with it.
Yeah,
and
like
managed to stay cultured.
At the end, I just had like a small like Pikachu figure, and I kept it.
Yeah.
On the side because my mom was not with it.
One of your most treasured possessions.
Yeah, I mean, it got me through a lot of dark places. So
yeah,
you know, shout out to Pikachu.
Shout out to Pikachu. I think that's the best shout out we've had on this show thus far. And you didn't see Endgame, did you? The Avengers one?
Nah, that's funny you ask. I've never watched an Avengers game. So
ever?
Yeah.
No Avengers? Any of the individual superhero movies?
Maybe Hulk, but this was like way
forever
back.
ago. The old Hulk, huh?
The original one, you know.
Dang, dude.
So this was way back.
That's wild. You're just not into the superhero scene?
I would love to. It's just never had the time.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I was always occupied working in the fields with my pops, welding, and really just adult stuff at a really early age. So.
Yeah, you grew up fast, huh?
Yeah, but, you know, it was a blessing, you know?
Yeah.
Blessing, you know, thankful for everything I've been taught to.
Yeah.
But, you know, here I am and trying to
thriving,
pay forward.
living, living your best life. In terms of that then, is that something you would see yourself ever doing in the future? Trying to kind of go back to, like, your roots of work, or would you more so try to help your parents out of that?
I mean, I want my parents to, you know, retire in peace.
Yeah.
You know, I came with nothing. You know, I was only a baby when I came.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that puts in perspective, and especially being on this scholarship, you know, we come from different states, from a place Connecticut, first time ever, and really, I just look at it as, like, you know, me going to Mexico, but you know, it's Connecticut,
right?
And really, I put it, like I said, in perspective, and be like, hey, my parents didn't come, like, how did they network and how they survive, and so really it just makes me humble, and really makes me crave success, but really also help others for those that need to. That's
it's definitely about perspective, because like you said, you've lived quite a full life already at only like what, 22?
I'm 21. So, but you know, I came here when I was 6 months. So
so
I have no idea what home is. Yeah. So really, I'm just living in.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that a lot of us kind of struggle with, is the idea of like home, right? Because everyone's like, a lot of people, whenever they move from place to place, they're older, right? They've like had time to like get like that first sense of home and stuff like that. But not everyone's had that, you know. Mm-hmm. But you were from Georgia?
Georgia, yeah, ATL, 404.
Shouts out. And Connecticut is quite far.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, You don't see much. Just growing up in the city really, really made me uncomfortable at first just coming here. I'm like, what is this? Like,
it's like middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, and here's the thing, is like my city's not that big. I think it's only like twice as big as Willimantic, but like even so, I'm like, Jesus, the shock of like being somewhere smaller than that. And like even living in the city I live in, like there's big cities around me that like we go to because, you go to hang out in the city, you go find things to do. And then my parents are from, like, they've always been city kids as well. And it's just like, dude, how am I living in a place that like has maybe a McDonald's for maybe every 10,000 miles?
Funny, you brought up McDonald's. When I first came here, I asked for a chicken biscuit.
Yeah.
And they laughed at me. They literally laughed at me. Yeah.
Oh, no.
They were like, what do you want? Like, I'm like, I want a chicken biscuit. And then the manager came and he just started laughing. And I'm like, dude, we don't even have that.
Bruh.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah, so you got to go to Popeyes or KFC to get biscuits.
But, at the time I didn't, I was freshman year. And I was like, damn, I really miss home. And
yeah.
I couldn't even call anyone to, like, send me a care package. So I was like, wow.
That is insane that they didn't have biscuits. But yeah, you're right. You're totally right. All right. Last question we ask our guests when we're getting to know them. Okay. This has been a good discussion. But, keeping an eye on the clock.
Right.
What's a song that you're currently, like, vibing with? What's the song you're listening to?
Funny. Lately I've been listening to a lot of J Balvin and just listening and, like, reading his lyrics and really catches on and it gets addicting,
Yeah, honestly.
And just J Balvin changing the whole music industry too, and especially in Latin culture.
Yes.
I really want to say Peligrosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with Wisin and Yandel. And so there's been a bop to me. Lately.
Quite a vibe, huh? All right, so let's take a music break. Without further ado, this is Peligrosa by J Balvin, Wisin y Yandel. That was Peligrosa, J Balvin, Wisin, and Yandel. All right, let's get some discussion going, shall we?
Sure, why not?
All right, so we can either start with some questions, because before the show, I posted on my story, and Javi posted on his, for people to send in questions, because we liked the vibe of that episode where we had y'all call in and ask us things, but the phone thing is still ridiculous, and I don't know what's going on with it. So instead, we just had people send in questions on Snapchat, Instagram, whatever different messaging systems. So we can either start with some questions now, or we can talk about some other things and kind of let the questions come in and end the show with that. Which one do you want to do?
Enlighten me, Go ahead. Do what you want.
Let's go ahead and start with the questions then, shall we?
Yeah,
the ones that we've got.
Gotcha.
All right. So the people that follow me and ask things are surprisingly deep. They hit us with some real questions. We also have, like, some of the basic questions, like... what do you want to do when you, like, in the future?
Yeah,
what music do you listen to?
Like
the stuff
what do you do? Like,
the small talk type things that we've said on the show that we don't enjoy.
Yeah, of course.
Not to, like, hate on small talk, but, like, we've heard those questions before, and you kind of get a sense of that as you talk to someone, but these are the real questions people want to get to know about you.
And that's why I gave, the options to ask,
Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and start with this one, because I know this is the one that you guys want to hear that are listening. So you mentioned that you're here on a scholarship, and with the way we get the scholarship is, like, every year, like, there's a new group of students under the scholarship, because, that's how scholarships work, and we're kind of in cohorts.
Right.
And so you're in the first group. You're an OG.
OG, yeah.
So this person would like to know, what has been your impression as an OG of, your cohort compared to the newer ones and how they compare?
First year, it was interesting, got to meet a lot of cool people, good or bad, I learned, like, just like anyone would. But I wouldn't say compare, more like see how people like have their personalities and really differentiate what they like and what they dislike. And I try to like set up a plan and be like, hey, come over here and chill. And I try to meet these two people and see how they go back to back.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, you know, to see what other people think. Because, you know, we're stuck in our minds all day.
Right.
So it's interesting to what people have to say. And I think everyone's, you know, been, you know, good to me in a way where I've helped them. They helped me.
Yeah.
They've taught me stuff I didn't know about.
Right.
Especially about myself.
Ooh.
And really, really, you know, again, just being able to network with everyone.
Yeah.
And relate to some sort of way where it's a girl, boy,
yeah,
gay, bi, or anybody in the LGBT community.
Yeah.
You know, I really, really have empathy and like support them in any way I can.
Yeah.
And then I keep reminding them, you know, we're on a full ride, and just like there's no competition. You know.
Right.
We should all be helping each other, one another, lifting each other up spiritually.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I'm just really thankful for meeting them. Yeah. And I guess trying to compare one another isn't my thing. Yeah. You know.
That's fair. And you're right. Everyone has their own personalities, their own traits. And like with each group kind of comes a certain mentality just because you experience something in a similar way, right? Mm-hmm. So it kind of shapes the way that things kind of go for you. Even though, like you said, it's cool to branch out and network and get to know other people and give and take.
Yeah. Yeah, first year, we had no idea, like, what to do. For a lot of us, it was like, do this and that, but from who? And, of course, we had, you know, guidance with our Maribel, Bill.
Yeah, and, shouts out to the squad.
Yeah, and, like, and our mentors and everything, but it just wasn't, I guess, personally, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, because it's also different to have people that are kind of on your level to relate to. Like, that's something that was big for, like, the other cohorts, I think, was having someone that experienced it firsthand, not just kind of like, oh, this is what you do because I'm your mentor and this is how it should work. It's like, nah, you know how it really works.
Yeah, but I think everyone should, you know, create their own legacy. Yeah. You know, don't follow everyone's same footsteps. And really, really, you know, just treat people with respect. Yeah. You know, there's no need to, like, make huge commotion, like, you know, in college, you know. Yeah. Leave that drama back home, you know, like, whatever.
It's so high school.
And, yeah, you know, I don't like problems, so I just stay in my lane.
Yeah, that's, all right, word from the wise, stay in your lane. All right, you want another question? Yeah. What do you think? And this kind of, these are cool. The questions that I've had like chosen kind of have tied into the conversations that we've been having. So in terms of success, what do you think is the number one reason people fail to succeed?
Again, everyone's different. Mm-hmm. But I think for me, I guess trying to repeat the excuses, you know? Give that same excuse or just another thing to cover up. Because we promise ourselves stuff that we haven't done yet. Yeah. And that drains you in a way to, like, potentially seek for that. Yeah.
It's kind of, you get caught in the same routines and you don't really progress anymore. You kind of get caught in a loop.
Yeah. Or you're stuck in the web, you know? Like you kind of climb up, but you keep adding another excuse. So like, let me just add this here and go in this direction.
You're blocking your own path.
Mm-hmm. And, like, the only enemy you really have to struggle is yourself, really. Yeah. Like, I know it's hard to get out of bed sometimes, but you gotta get up. Make shit happen.
You're your own motivation. Mm-hmm. That's, I like that mentality. And it's something that a lot of people don't really want to accept or admit. Mm-hmm. Because, sure, the system's against you, right? But there comes a time when you have to create your own opportunities because the fact that there's a system that isn't meant for you to succeed, right? So you have to work around that. You have to maybe not exploit it, but do what you can to break free of that and not let it hinder you and not let it become an excuse. Another question, kind of on the terms of succeeding in things. You said your major is communications and sports management, which is already fairly broad, right? Right. If there was something outside of your major, what would you want to do and
why? Nobody knows this, but I would love to do acting.
Oh, snap.
Acting, yeah. Just because I took a couple classes, you know, LECs, you know, required. Yeah. And then there's a bullshit classes, whatever. But just talking to folks and, like, you get to articulate your thoughts, but also your creativity, and it just brings everything all together. And I met a lot of nice people and genuine, and like they've taught me some things, but also they got me out of my bubble.
Yeah.
I was really reserved and like this and that.
Who would have thought you were reserved? You're such a social butterfly.
Well, now I am, because like I said, it just boosts my confidence up. And like I love the whole scene design.
Yeah.
And I got to do a small model for a class, and it got me thinking: should I do acting? Should I get into the acting business? And there was a point, like my first acting class, my teacher, instructor, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she really complimented me, and she's like, "Yo, you really have a strong voice, and you really should do it."
Yeah.
I'm like, I should, right?
Perhaps.
Yeah. But then I got kind of sassy and whatever. But really, acting would really be my...
That's cool. And it kind of ties into communication, because you're presenting yourself to the public in a way.
Absolutely. And just want to create my own legacy,
Yeah.
Again, I love to stand out and just be different,
Yeah. Maybe once you hit success within the world of sports and communications, you can use that as a platform to get into acting.
Yeah, perhaps.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that, but that would be dope.
Of course. You have to use that ladder, bro.
Hey, people just want to take the escalator,
People just... Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, they don't want to work for it.
Nah. You got to be willing to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's do another question.
Yeah.
We have a lot to choose from. I'm kind of glad. Let's see. We've got... Oh, this one's kind of interesting. This, I feel like, gives insights also to, like, your values and stuff.
Right.
If you could give something to every child in the world, what would it be and why?
Interesting.
Yeah, that one's kind of... That's a good question.
Entire children?
And every child in the world gets this thing.
This thing. One thing, right?
Yeah, it can be a thing, a concept, an idea, I don't know. Just something that you would give every child in the world. What should every child have?
I think really just be themselves, really.
Like the ability to, like, not
express
have to...
themselves, really.
I like that.
Oftentimes, and you see it a lot too, like parents and like even friends, like they try to be so controlling of who you want to be, and
yeah,
I don't think it should be that way. If anything, you should really discover yourself, because otherwise you have to depend on other people's opinions.
Yeah,
and who don't even know themselves,
Right.
So I think it just gives them a chance to express themselves, be what they want,
yeah.
Whether it's an astronaut, just make it happen.
The ability to like be able to like truly express yourself and kind of have the support of your peers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. I would have to agree. That's important. I feel like a lot of people's maybe not creativity, but like their personality is kind of stifled by what the world wants them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because that kind of gets draining to have to put on that facade, and it's like, all right, this is who I'm supposed to be. But
and that's the thing, people want you to expect you to be someone you're not.
Yeah.
So you're going through the days, wearing this mask, pretending, oh, this is who I am. But
yeah.
behind your back, I'm someone else. So
yeah,
I just try to be true to myself, whether people like it or not.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
So speaking of being yourself, then final question.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna be able to guess who sent this one in.
Okay.
So this question's like super specific to you.
Right.
I feel like you're gonna know, but in terms of your aesthetic, those who know you know that you have an aesthetic.
Okay.
And your aesthetic's kind of like dark and deep and kind of grungy, right?
Right.
So this person wants to know: is your aesthetic actually like that deep and like melancholy, or is it kind of subconscious to make up for something?
A bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I have a dark history.
Mm-hmm.
Just growing up and just really, I had a hard time, especially fighting my depression.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of just became my aesthetics, really.
Yeah.
And later, just reading and listening to music and looking at people's perspectives, like I just want to create my own.
Yeah.
And I started designing and all this stuff, a lot of skeletons and
mm-hmm.
but also different colors, and see what I can mix up with. Really just became my final thought. Just, hey, this is what I like.
Yeah.
This is what I like. And people be like, yo, why do you like black all the time? I'm like, yo, it looks good. I mean, what do you expect?
It looks good.
Yeah.
That's that. It's that simple.
And I wear other colors too, but...
Yeah, like right now your hat has the logo in pink, even though your hat is black.
Yeah. So something black is always on me.
Yeah.
Even if it's just my soul, but...
Oh my God.
But, nah. And I've been influenced by a lot of people, like The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Abel and just...
So it is kind of stylistic.
Yeah.
It is reflective, but it's also partly stylistic.
And it's all meaningful, you know. It's not like
it's not just like you saw it on Fashion Week and you're like, huh, that's cool.
Yeah. Nah, I really enjoy what I do. And like I said, I love to stand out and have people wonder, like, why.
Yeah.
And, you know, it starts conversation.
Yeah. You put a lot of emphasis on creativity and for things to be meaningful.
Right.
That's interesting. That's really cool. I feel like that's a cool thing to know about a person because it is important. And being able to express yourself, like, as you want without having to answer to anyone else's judgment.
Right. And like I said, I just enjoy being different.
Yeah.
I've always been different.
That's
one
dope.
day, well, like now I could be listening to rock.
Yeah.
For like quite a second and just go straight to bachata. You know? So it's always something up to me, and that's because I've had friends who love going to concerts.
Yeah.
Love like playing soccer, or just love doing a bit of everything, art,
Yeah,
music,
people from all walks of life.
And that's what really sparked my interest in just creating my own.
Yeah. So you surround yourself by people who are inspiring, motivational, people who succeed in their own thing, in their own element. That's cool. That's pretty dope. Did you have any questions sent in to you that you wanted to discuss?
Let's see what's up. Let's see what the people have to say.
See what the fans are talking about. What do the people want to know about you?
People tend to see the negatives in life more than the positives. What would you recommend to keep themselves in a more positive state?
Goes back to that perspective we were talking about.
Yeah. I guess my biggest take is, love yourself. Love yourself. And as cliche as it sounds, but it really helped me. Just because, like, I always seeked out for people's validations and, like, what should I do for this and that.
Yeah.
And it just came to a point where I was like, hey, I should just do this for me, you know? Like, why should I be worried about what he's wearing, or why should I be worried about what they have to say, you know?
Right.
And like I said, even for guys too, you know?
Right.
Like, we have such a big ego, and we're always tending to be, nah, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
You know, and really I just took the risk of doing something different, and that was loving myself, changing my habits, using less of my phone, just getting out there, meeting someone I've never known. So, like, every now and then I say hello to a stranger on Eastern on campus. Nice. And they say hi back. Even in an adult too, you know. So it's small things, you know, they add up.
That's really cool. And it works out for you because, like, we've discovered you are now quite the social butterfly and used to not talk to anyone.
Yeah, just a butterfly effect, you know. I'm just hard to catch.
It's a butterfly effect, yeah.
I'm just hard to catch.
Do you have any other questions down there?
Let's see.
You heard it here first, folks. Javi is indeed a butterfly on various levels.
Shout out to Bonilla. He just said, he's happy for me, and, I'm happy for you, and, can't wait for Miami this weekend. So.
Oh, snap. You went to Miami, huh?
Yeah, Rolling Loud, but,
Oh, dude, that's so sick.
Yeah, it's the second time, so see what's up and how it goes.
That's going to be lit. That's going to be lit.
Nobody wanted to ask because they all suck, I guess.
I think people are intimidated by you is the thing.
Really?
Yeah, because I had people swipe up and be like, I want to ask something, but I don't know what to ask. And I'm like, bro, literally ask anything. We're going to
I'm giving the chance
it.
right now. So if you're listening right now.
Looking at the person you were in high school, what would you tell your past self, and what would you do different?
My past self. Own up, really, and just it's crazy. Just own my voice, really. It took a while to develop a voice, but I realized the sacrifices and the amount of, like, isolating myself really did hurt me a lot. But in terms of just high school and school, because I don't know, man. Even in high school, I was a nobody, and I probably am still now.
Are you kidding? You're like the most popular person here. We've just discussed this.
I guess. But
no,
but really, I was just just soccer, school to myself.
Yeah.
Pretty shy. But now I'm just all over the place,
Right.
Someday I could be in like I said, this week I'm going to Miami.
Right.
Another week I could be in DC, or I could just be back home.
Yeah.
And really, just really vocal, really.
Yeah.
And advocate for myself, because just going after people, like, you meet a lot of the people in this world.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but, we got to speak up and really surprise them that what you're doing is wrong.
Right.
And there's no need for that.
Yeah.
Because, we're all in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all trying to strive for success. But
apathy is dangerous. It's easy to kind of get stuck in like, well, doesn't matter. I'm just another person. But owning your voice.
Yeah, just owning my voice.
That's solid. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I feel like it's interesting that you'd say that, because I would have said something similar.
Even today, and like people would, high school again. People would complain like, "Why you speak so low? Yo, speak up."
Yeah.
And when I did, people like took it offensive and were like, "Yo, like why are you yelling?" And so I guess people tend to believe that I'm really aggressive.
Yeah.
But really
just like, no, dude, I'm just talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It tends to be a thing with people who, I feel like you're also the type of person that kind of got labeled as shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like I was really reserved, but
it's
now I'm
like,
just like, whatever,
Yeah,
Ask
it's like,
for it. You want to hang out? Let's go.
like in the past, it's just kind of like, I mean, I was just observing. I was just trying to get a lay of the land. Now it's just like, now I know what's up. Now y'all gonna get to know me.
Another thing, just to answer, was like, people thought I was really serious because of my face. I never smiled. I literally didn't. And now it's just my cheekbones hurt all the time from smiling. So like, cause I never did it,
You're like the DJ Khaled thing where he's like suffering from success. It's like, dang, I'm so happy all the time.
Yeah.
Can't be smiling.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have that aesthetic, huh? To make up for it?
In a way, yeah. How much does your past hardship define who you are currently? Can those experiences be ignored and overcome, or do parts of those moments stay for the rest of your life? How much does your past hardship define who you currently are? A lot, but you should also embrace it,
Yeah.
Because, of course, we can be stuck in our heads all day.
Right.
But we also got to make sure that it's a peaceful state of mind, because there's no need for the negativity. There's no need to bring yourself down.
There's so much negativity in the world. You don't need to perpetuate it for yourself.
Yeah, and you can use it to make it positive,
Yeah.
Carry on. Can those experiences be easily ignored? No. You got to create your own legacy.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you fail or not. You got to take the risk.
Yeah.
And actually do something for yourself. 'Cause
right.
if you live off the book, then that shows that you're not creative.
Yeah.
In a way. But also,
that.
just be yourself. Get out there. Do something different you've never done.
Yeah. That's good advice for life, isn't it? If not, like you said, it's easy to get kind of caught up in a loop, stuck in your own web.
And overcome or do parts of those moments stay for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Me personally, I have scars on my face, and I have to live with that.
Yeah.
And that's from like I said, dark places that I have been in my life.
Right.
So it varies too, But really, like I said, embrace it,
Yeah.
Embrace it.
That's a very, very good point. I like that answer.
And here's what makes you happy.
Ooh.
What makes me happy? Really just seeing, my brothers and sisters, and not just my siblings, but just other people succeed, If I can help you in a way, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
If I can feed you today, I'm happy with that.
That's such a whole,some answer. My heart is so happy
no need,
to hear that.
There's no competition,
Yeah.
Just hoping that has always been me, and I'll never let it go.
Yeah.
And I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, but that's something that makes me happy.
Yeah. That's a really nice answer.
'Cause I can have $5 in my pocket today, and if you need to eat tomorrow, I'll feed you.
Everybody eats.
Yeah. And and then there's folks that you don't talk, and I still want them to eat,
Yeah.
But just not on my table.
I like that. That's such a diplomatic way to say that, but
Yeah,
like, that's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no ill will towards anyone. Just, do your thing. Stay in your lane, right? Okay, I'm going to combine a couple of questions, only because they tie into what you just said.
Okay.
And this one's... Oh, wait, no, this is interesting. I like this. In the Latino community,
right,
there are a lot of social issues, and the way that they're handled aren't the best. And it's interesting that you said the thing about competition, because also I feel like a lot of these social issues, and this is where it connects to the other question, they lead into that sense of competition where it's like, I had to struggle, so you have to struggle too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like whether your battle is just kind of like getting ahead, being successful, or whether it's kind of systemic, like racism and sexism, like those types of social issues. What are your thoughts on how we as a community can do what we can to be better?
I think first things first, come to realization, but also accept what's going on, not just be in denial. Oftentimes, like in our culture, like a lot of stuff is embedded, especially when it comes to racism, and it's unfortunate because it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
You know? Even with our own people.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I had a Honduran friend, and his mother wouldn't allow me to play with him.
Really?
So, yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, so I had to live with it,
Yeah.
But we would still mess around in school and, do hood rat shit. Yeah.
Right.
But, he was in a bad path.
Yeah.
And I always encouraged him. There were times where I would fall in his footsteps.
Yeah.
But my parents would beat the shit out of me and wake up and like, yo, like, this isn't you.
Yeah.
But really, really, I guess just come together and unite, because that's what we really need at this point. This whole trauma administration, undocumented people, and not to get too in depth with it, but I'll just make it simple.
Go for it.
Yeah, really, really. Help our brothers and sisters out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a race. We all want to get somewhere in life.
Yeah, and there's power in numbers, and instead of kind of competing against each other, if we build each other up, like, it'll get us to where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a position of strength to stick together.
Yeah, because we need it now more than ever.
Yeah. The elections are coming up in 2020. Please vote the proper way. If you can vote, please vote.
If you don't want to vote, vote.
Yeah. There was a trip to DC. We talked about it briefly on the show, but there was a man outside of the White House kind of just having his little own demonstration thing. And he said, when you find compassion, then you will find the dream. And that kind of stuck with me because, a lot of people don't stop to think about what others are going through. They just kind of be like, I had to struggle. So.
Yeah, and there's this quote too, when the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But when the poor have nothing else to eat, they end up eating the rich. So.
Oh, snap.
So,
y'all hear that, rich people? No, that's powerful. That's for real.
So, perhaps we might retaliate, but, I really do strongly believe there's a situation for all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can only do so much, but also, keep our community together and look out for one another.
Not play life so much as if it were a game of chess, huh?
Yeah, you have friends where you can use them for to get yourself to another position. Yeah. But at the end, we all want to be that king or queen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to it, so.
Right.
Don't just bullshit your way.
For sure. Fake it till you make it can only get you so far, right?
Hey, man, that's just a statement to me, to be honest.
Yeah. So. I like your quote better. All right, let's do a lighter question.
Okay.
These are getting deep. These are getting heavy.
Yeah, they all want to know about it.
People want to know. I told you, people are intimidated. You said you're going to Miami, but what's your favorite place you've been to?
My favorite place I've been to, I want to say DC.
Yeah.
Yeah. so clean, and it was really beautiful. And I mean, the White House and all that historic is just a bonus to me. But it was, like I said, it was nice, and I'm pretty sure it's expensive. But I think that's probably my top 5 places to live.
DC was nice. You like creativity. Did you get to spend much time in the museums, the galleries?
Yeah, I went to the
Smithsonian.
Yeah, I got to see one of NASA's tape recorders, and it was interesting. I took a photo of it.
Yes, all the NASA things. That entire exhibit was so freaking cool.
Yeah, there was like a lot of records too. Even disco outfits, which quite amazing too. You see the outfit, the boots, and a lot of historical stuff on it too, dealing with African Americans too, and the hip hop culture transitioning to how it is now.
Right. Yeah. There's so much to learn in DC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of DC, the people are sending relevant questions like as we're drawing to a close on the show, but I like this one. So freedom and liberty. Do the words mean not being persecuted or discriminated against, or do they mean doing whatever you please?
Get back to me.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I have to think about that.
Yeah, that is a big question. All right, let's do this one just because it's relevant as the show draws to a close. What is an artist or a song that you could listen to on repeat for the rest of your life?
For the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It doesn't have to be the closing song, but what is a song?
No, it's just for the rest of my life,
Yeah.
That's what would be hard. That would be hard.
Who's someone that you think that will stay in your playlists, I guess, then, for the rest of your life?
I would say Absol.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot, like, some crazy shit that he's been through, but a lot of wisdom that he's taught me.
Yeah.
So, especially with his Control System album, I really enjoyed that one. So, if you ever get a chance or don't know about him, check him out. And just take the time to listen and really, really do some research about him, because, boy, man, he taught me a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well, music recommendations from Javi. Speaking of music recommendations, Javi, what's another song that you've been listening to as we wind down for the night?
Lately I checked out Schoolboy Q's latest new album, and I love Dangerous by featuring Kid Cudi.
Oh, snap. Let's give that one a listen.
For those that I'm back home, I'm doing this for y'all. This is for Beaver Highway, D-Ville, Plaster, all the people I've been fortunate to meet. But most importantly, peace and love. Always be kind to one another. And peace. I'm out.
Javi, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Like you said, shout out to everyone that listened. And we will see you guys next week. Same time, same station. New nonsense, new guests. Have a fantastic week.